Hey, my name's Communicate. I want to start off this video by saying, I'm not the biggest, Genshin defender or Genshin player. I've played it, 3 times, maybe. A few more if you count, on my friend's account. But I was at an Airbnb earlier, and I was in the Google Play Store, because Genshin constantly gets updates. I went to check if it needed another one. It didn't, surprisingly. And then I went, you know what? You know what I like to do, when I was a kid? When I was really young, I liked to scroll through 1-star reviews on different apps, and I like to laugh at them, because for some of them, it would just be so stupid. Completely the user's fault as to why they're, reviewing the app bad. So I went, you know what? Instead of playing Genshin, I'm going to go look at Genshin 1-star reviews. And I expected fully to see, 12-year-olds going, ha ha, anime bad. You know what I mean? I expected to see, swaths of just really, trying to be edgy kids going, anime bad, Genshin bad, Genshin bad. I did not see that. In fact, they were just insane. Some of these reviews are they're hilarious, but some of them are do you know how a video game works? And so I figured, okay, when I go back home from my Airbnb that I'm sitting in right now, when I get back home, I want to review these on record. So I went through 20 and then went, these are too good to not make a video on. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so already this first one here, and most of these are basically nostalgia. Genshin was better at one point. Genshin is better at one point. You know, I wish my life didn't peak 5 years ago. Genshin was better at one point. You know what I mean? It's all just nostalgia. This is something I've been through a whole bunch. Is that things don't get worse. Your perspective of them gets worse when they get worn out in your head. And these guys, the first three are basically Genshin will be cherished. It will be cherished. I'm sorry. It will be cherished. It will be. I think, for one, I guess it could still be cherished. Okay, sure. A little bit. I guess some players would cherish it. I feel like cherish is a strong word. But yeah, most of these are just nostalgia. And then, by the way, Cognosphere here, Hoyoverse, keeps calling everyone traveler. If they're saying they're going to quit your game, probably don't try to pull them back in by trying to LARP as the game itself. You are the devs. You could do a little bit. You could do a little bit more. I know that's common for a game company to do when they're replying to reviews. But still, I feel like if they're saying you're going to quit your game, you should probably take them seriously enough and not refer to them as the in-game name. And then there's this one here. So, with the latest update, the developers have effectively slammed the door in the faces of new players. A mandatory story quest demands knowledge of lore from limited time events that ended years ago. Events that are now completely inaccessible. It's as if they expect newcomers to have a time machine, because the game certainly doesn't offer any way to catch up. So, I don't know if you have any idea what you're on, right now, sir. But there's this thing called the internet, right? I know. Strange name. Some people call it the web, the World Wide Web. That's an old thing, though. So, on the internet is cataloged media from any time, any place. You could watch Winston Churchill giving a speech.
At any rate, that is what we're going to try to do.
You could watch live the attack on Pearl Harbor as it happened. Or you could go back to any Genshin lore and watch a playthrough. Watch any recap on any YouTube video, any given YouTube video, just by looking it up. I know, it's crazy. It's almost as if you have a digital time machine, almost. And then a lot of people are complaining about Natlan just not being, I guess, the newest region. I think Natlan's the newest region or something. That was introduced. Yeah, it was introduced. I think it's semi-recent, but these reviews are recent, so I know that. Downfall of this game happens so fast and all at once. I feel like you don't just log in over a day and then realize, oh my god, they updated. Oh, it's ruined everything. I mean, I've done that with Fortnite, but then again, that's the game where the entire game changes overnight, and that's literally the entire prospect. Let's see. Lack a new story quest, new hangout. Okay, sure, whatever. Game is the game is pitiful and boring because a single event, because a single update didn't have as much content as you was expecting. The game is pitiful. It's pitiful because the new update was not big enough. I feel like it's not like forcing you to go there, is it? Like you can do more, yes? Again, I haven't played Genshin like all that much, but you can do like more than just go to that area, yeah? And again, with Cognisphere referring to this person as Traveler after this person calls them pitiful. Okay, yes, this one was the one I basically stopped on. Hydra Gurum's report here. Or review. This one was the one I stopped on. Music is top notch. They keep me at bay when I'm bored with the game or done with all quests. Graphics are amazing. Character designs are great. Japanese voice actors are superb. Gameplay is fun. Battle is fun. Animation is eye candy. In-game events are mostly nice. Exploration is super fun. The world map is huge. Puzzles are hard enough. Disappointed in Natlan map. Also, they gone harem way with only females 5-star. The old character feels so weak compared to new one feels cheated. Okay, my guy, I want you to take a look at yourself. This went from what seems like a 5-star review, like everything about this game is beautiful, great, and wonderful. You dropped it 4 stars down to the worst review possible solely because there were no hot men. I need you to understand. I need you to maybe take a look at yourself and realize some things. It's okay. I think perhaps to understand yourself a little more, you should go out. Might I recommend a festival or a parade? Now, understand here that Genshin is not a body positivity game. I would love this review if it was truly about like the gender equalization of video games, but it's not. It's not because it's not that. Genshin is not a body positivity game. Genshin has no Squirrel Girl build. You understand? There's not a single character with a Squirrel Girl build in the entire game, as far as I'm aware. You are solely basing this review off the fact that there are too many hot women and not enough hot men. You've dropped this down to 1 star because of the lack of hot men. And look, again, fine with that. There probably should be more. But I feel like you maybe don't realize what you're saying. Anyways, let's keep going. The pioneer of 3D open world RPG action gacha, third to the top. The current region, Natlan, is good in terms of the environment, the visuals, and music. In terms of gameplay, it is still the Genshin you played during COVID. You're basically admitting to it's the nostalgia factor keeping it. Nothing has changed in the past 5 years. Oh, right, sorry, I actually read a few comments more. I did. Right, because there's one, like, right after this that immediately contradicts it, and it's like, okay, what are you guys mad at, like, actually? What are you guys actually mad at? Because one of these is like, it is never changed. And the other one is like, everything's so changing so quick. It's still a Genshin you played during COVID. Again, telling us that it's the nostalgia factor. Nothing has changed in the past 5 years. In terms of character design, they look out of place and should belong to another Hoyo game. Main story suffered a lot in terms of quality. Okay, you know what? That's fair review. I think it's based on nostalgia, but that's fair review. They make events not everyone can participate in, fully in. So basically, you're low level, you want to participate in the high level stuff. And actually, when I logged in and I realized you had to be like a certain level to play with friends, I felt like that was, you know what, I can get behind this one. Like, what? My character is fully built max level and I still can't do it? Very bad quest design where you have to sit through pages and pages of talking and dialogue. My guy, it's a lore game. The entire, like, tutorial is just you learning about the world you're in. The entire point of the game is trying to progress with the story so you can get back to your sibling, yes? Like, the entire thing is a lore game. It's like, it's okay if you don't want to read a book. I get it. But also, this is an RPG. Just because it looks like an anime, I'm very certain this is very much an RPG. And here we go again with the Traveler. This used to be my favorite mobile game. The quality has suffered for unknowable reasons. Unknowable reasons. I like how this phrases it as if it's some like eldritch beast that's like crawled over Weaverse. And I like the use of the word unknowable. I don't hear unknowable like ever. I don't think I've ever written I've ever written the word unknowable or heard the word unknowable like ever in a book. Unknowable seems like such a like a Lovecraft term. You know what I mean? Unknowable reasons. This is an X file. It's an X file for why the Hoyoverse is like Genshin is not as good anymore. The 5.0 patches have been very empty, and the writing is terrible. Earlier patches are better. Unsure of what has happened. Again, you like completely. It's like there's no way of knowing. It's just I have no idea why it's gotten so bad. And look, to be completely honest, I could merit a few guesses. Probably the fact that it's like a huge team now, and it's not as like a small like you know. And I feel like also because probably the money aspect, like you've seen with Paradox and Hoi 4, where they've gotten into a secondary team, and then that produced Graveyard of Empires, which was a horrible DLC, and like it's the expansion. And as soon as people get money, they tend to be lazier. That's just a thing. The larger a game gets, the slower it is to actually do what its community wants, and just goes the basic route. That happens. As many have mentioned, a skip button is needed given the repetitive nature. Sorry, is that? All right. We're using Gemini here. I mean, I could search it up, but I think the British accent would tell it to you better. Hey Google, how do you spell repetitive? I can see it on my screen now.
Repetitive is spelled Repetitive.
I'm sorry, I feel like the writing... Yeah, you're right, though. The writing in Genshin is terrible. Nature of dailies, and the dialogue bloat. Most of the story is developed through explanation... Is that how you spell explanation? That's not how you spell explanation, either. Although it should be that way. There's not the I in explanation. Am I right? It's explanation for no reason. / yapping, then animation. You aren't going to have a skip animation. If you aren't going to have a skip option, justify it by showing, not telling, hoping they improve. Okay. Honestly, I was someone who played Genshin during the very early release, stayed a long time term player, became boring, and became quite disappointing, both in rewards and general gameplay. These problems are never fixed. It's getting harder to defend each day, and it's disappointing how bad it fell off. I feel like you don't have to defend a game. Like, I don't know. Is this like the standard for Genshin players? It might be the standard for Genshin players. Again, I have no idea. I main Hoi 4. I main Hearts of Iron 4. And I'm going to be completely honest. Hearts of Iron 4 players, we know how bad the game gets. That's why there's so many mods. Like, when Paradox releases a new shit DLC, the first thing the Hoi 4 community does is go, wow, this is a shit DLC. I don't think there's a single Paradox player who's out there trying to defend Paradox. Like, yeah, the DLCs cost way too much. Yeah, your DLCs are crap. I feel like every games community should take a note, a good note from the Hoi 4 community. Yes, we love our game, we love our devs, but also there's no need defending them. Like, they are a multi-million, and so is Hoyoverse. They are a multi-million-dollar company. They don't need some random person defending them. If it's bad, the best way to get a company to do what you want is to say, it's bad. Not to say, we love you. Can you please give us something better so I can continue to play this because I keep playing it every day anyway, but I love better content. No, just say like, oh, this is bad. I won't be playing this. I won't be paying for it. I won't. You see, you hit him in the pocketbook, and it gets better. Increasingly long dialogue sections that tend to drag on with still no implementation of a skip option, despite it being standard in other games. These sections are maybe more awkward by the vast amount of voice acting being MIA. Oh, you know what? That is something. That's a genuine critique. I loved the tutorial how each character had their own voice, and then like in the very beginning when you would talk to a character, their opening line would have a voice thing, and then you'd start talking to them, and then the voice would just cut out, and it's like, okay, did you pay this person to do like one voice line and then like no other voice lines? and there's just one voice line. You up, hello, you care to see my wares? And then you go and like click one option like to talk or something, and then there's no more voice. That's like, where did the person go? Newest event has maybe 3 to 4 voice characters, and everyone else is silent. Grinding materials for character advancements like pulling teeth. I mean, that's again, it's an RPG and a gacha game. I mean, that's kind of standard in it. And the high end ones are time gated to 1 per week. No sign of improvement anytime either. And yeah, here's the other one. Do you remember the one we just went a few times up? Who said, right? It in terms of gameplay, it is still the game you played during COVID. Nothing has changed in the past 5 years. Well, let's scroll down. Let's scroll down to Arias, who reviewed this in March. Now, I will say the review that we just read happened in April, so obviously January, February. Wait, yeah, January, February, March, April. I don't know how I freaking fucked that up. Okay, January, February, March, April. Right. So this one came after the one we're going to read, but that makes it even more that makes it even more obvious, because the person is going to say it's changed too much, and the person who reviews it a month later has said it's been the same for 5 years. So okay, every time I log in, the landscape keeps changing. Everything is getting bigger. The hills, cliffs, boulders, squirrels, the flowers, and mushrooms. Well, the characters are getting smaller. It takes me longer to get to places. My characters run out of stigma. Is it stigma? They don't call it stigma. I don't think they call it stigma, my guy. I'm sorry. Stigma. Faster. Making it harder to do delivery quests or just climbing cliffs walls. Okay, they do need to increase the stigma. It's stamina, by the way, and I know that your phone autocorrected and you didn't check, but it's stamina. They should increase the stamina. I'm so annoyed that like a character can't swim across an incredibly peaceful lake. Like I go to that one. I go to Moon State, also known as Mondstadt, but in German. I go to Moon State's little lake there, the moat, and I don't see a single wave. And it's like my character starts paddling, and like midway through this, I don't know. It's probably the size of like 2 pools, maybe back to back, 2 average sized pools. And this character's like halfway, and they're just like, never mind, I'm gonna drown. And it's like, okay, you know what? I will critique that. They should increase the stigma. But every time I log in, the landscape keeps changing. My guy, are you telling me that Genshin updates a lot? Is this what we're calling a bad game now? I have to wonder, because isn't that a good thing? Like, isn't it a good thing that the game is like getting larger and it's getting, or is this another like, is this more evidence of like the eldritch Lovecraftian being taking over Hoyoverse? Every time this person logs in, the landscape gets larger. Or is it possible that the characters are getting smaller? That the characters are turning into very, very tiny humans, like borrowers. You know what I mean? They're shrinking. And it is to represent, I don't know, the shrinking of your posture or something. I don't know. I lost the joke midway through. But the point is this more evidence of the Lovecraftian being taking over Hoyoverse? The game is getting corrupted for this person? Everything just keeps getting larger? The characters keep shrinking? It's clearly, there is a creepypasta to be made here in Genshin. Anyways, isn't it a good thing that like the game is updating? The landscape does keep changing. The map is getting bigger. Isn't that a good thing? Like, there's more content. There's more places to explore. You know, there's more animals. I feel like... I don't know. Is that not what this person is saying? Is it genuinely that they think that the game is corrupted and, like, their character is genuinely getting smaller and everything else is, like... Is this, like, a glitch? Is this a common thing? Again, I need to know this. But I feel like, why are we critiquing the game being, like, active? And also, which one, this isn't a movable object versus an unstoppable force here. Which one is right? Has the game stayed the same for 5 years? Or is everything getting larger? Or is everything getting larger but staying the same? What an interesting paradox. You could say the paradox is almost interactive. I spent upwards of 1,000 hours in this game. You fucking rookie. Great graphics, soundtrack, but man, so many things in this game are needing to be fixed. Okay, true. My mother has actually tried Genshin on the PlayStation 4, and that shit lags so much. Like, okay, on the computer, it doesn't. On the console, it does nothing, but, like, every time you enter, like, a new screen, like, okay, I'm going into one of the dungeon crawler areas, I forget, it's like a quest, or they call it a certain thing, like a temple, or, oh, I forget. I call it a dungeon because that's the same thing as, like, Minecraft Dungeon and all the other, like, RPG, like, dungeon crawler style games like that. Anyways, every single time, it will lag and just, like, completely freeze before unfreezing. And it's like, oh, did the PlayStation just blue screen? That's not even possible, but I worry each time. Okay. I spent upwards... Oh, right, by the way, I said fucking rookie and then didn't read anything else. I've tried to make that a joke, but I realize I genuinely believe something you say to something unique. Get to the colon was right. It used to have a great plot, interesting characters, great gameplay, everything. For the last year, they've exclusively been making, okay, attractive women who acted like romantic interests. This is not something new. Like, this, what is that? Like, okay, do we count, like, our sibling as, like, the first character we meet? I'm gonna assume we count our sibling as the first character we meet. Okay, so we meet Cube Goddess, we meet our sibling, and then we meet Paimon, right? And then, I'm trying to figure it out here, and then I think we meet, I know we meet Amber, and then we meet Kaya, or Kaya? I'm not exactly sure how you say his name. And Kaya, technically, by the way, already flirty. It's like, I swear it's like within his first 10 lines that he basically invites you to the bar for a drink. And then you meet the librarian, who, like, basically exclusively calls you, like, dear, and all these semi-endearing terms in a very flirtatious tone. This is not but the point I'm trying to make here is that your great story, your great gameplay, again, is based on nostalgia. You're feeling nostalgic about, like, 5 years ago when you first booted up the game and it was all new. Yes, they're doing the same thing over and over again, but this is not a new thing. They've been doing this since day one. It's just, day one is just now nostalgic as compared to what it has become now. Where it's the same thing they've been doing, but it's just not what it... it's the same thing they've been doing, but it's not new. Who act like romantic interest in the player. Again, Kaya invites you on a date, like, 10 lines in. I swear, 10 lines in. Maybe it's after you defeat the dragon or whatever, but I swear, within the first 30 lines, he's like, maybe we should have a drink at the tavern. You know, one of my friends said that I could do the voice of, what's his name? It was a healer guy. He's in a temple and he heals people. I think he's got like it's like a little snake, like, what's the word for a magic pet? Again, I don't remember. There's a certain term. It's on the tip of my tongue. It keeps flashing in my head and then going back before I can. A familiar! He has like a little snake familiar or something like that. He's got a little snake familiar or something. Apparently I've got a Genshin voice. If I make my voice smoother, apparently I could be a voice actor. And you know what? If you'd like to hire me, just think about it. I'd love to make money off your game and become one of these apparent romantic interests to many players. Don't worry, it's okay. Maybe wait 2 years. On second thought, I don't think I can flirt yet legally.
Prepare 10 parts of violet grass and 3 of star conch shells. Mash them together with some fresh glazed lilies, filter with gauze, and consume the resulting herbal brew.
Okay, the plot has turned to something from a kid's show. Okay, wait. There's this indicts like a much worse issue. You realize that you've like split these two up into two separate issues when this is like a much worse issue put together. Like if you phrase this like put together, this would become a much worse. Like if you split these two things up into two sentences, right? Yes, I'm just rating. I'm reviewing the review now. You split these two things up. Oh, you know what? It's not into one. It's not into two sentences. But it never makes the connection that it's a worse issue. Both exclusively making attractive women, and the plot is turned to something from a kid's show. That's worse together than it is apart. But we never mentioned the insinuation that could be possibly bad. And I don't really believe it. Like, okay, yeah, but also, it's kind of what a gacha game does. Like, I don't think I've... I don't know what sound just came out of my mouth. I don't think I've seen, like, a gacha game yet where the entire premise isn't like, there are very muscular men and there are very attractive women wearing, form-fitting outfits, basically, right? Pretty much every character in Genshin has that. Pretty much every character in, like, Zenless Zone Zero, when you see the ads, does that. I mean, there's the freaking ad for what's her name? Jane, Ellen, no, not Ellen, I think that's the shark, right? Jane, is it Jane Doe? Is it Jane Doe, the mouse with a knife in her tail?
It was too fast. Red. Yes, it was red. And it left.
Yeah, there's that ad. There's that ad, and then there's what are the other ones? Right, that's the. You can tell that I don't actually play gacha games all that often. Like I don't. Did I download ZZ? I've never played ZZ. I think I might have it downloaded. Again, the only gacha game I've ever played is Genshin, like 3 times. What's the other one? Honkai Star Rail. There you go. Right. All of these games have that tone. Like, again, not a single character in any of these games ever seems to have a Squirrel Girl build. And, like, maybe they should work on that. I don't know. Anyways. So much repetition with new characters being released. So many new things being at. Okay. You realize how you just contradicted yourself here, Delaney. Delaney, my friend. Great graphics, soundtrack, etc. But man, so many things in these games are needing to be fixed. Okay. There's so much repetition with new characters being released. So many new things being added. I'm not your English teacher. Okay? But this review, there's a bit of a glaring issue with the words repetition, or rather, so much repetition, and then not 2 overused commas later in this run-on sentence. So many new things being added. Are you drowning in monotony, or are you drowning in new features? I played since day 1, but boy, I've been taking way too many breaks. You're basically crying for help. This is a cry for help. This is him saying, I'm addicted to Genshin. Help me. I'm drowning in everything at once. The game has consumed me. This is... Oh, wait. We've got third evidence. He's been consumed. We've got a third evidence of the Eldritch Hoyoverse. Oh, shit. My foot's cramping. Oh, dear God. What the hell happened there? God. Okay. Excuse that. We've got third evidence here. I'm sorry, the Hoyoverse Eldritch Demon attacked me through the computer screen. It's trying to get to me. I won't let it stop me. Back beast. My saltiness compels you. I've got third evidence of the strange Lovecraftian being taking over Hoyoverse at this very moment. I give the soundtrack a 10 out of 10, but the same can no longer be said about the game itself. So many quality of life changes, and they still haven't even broken the surface. Oh, he's trying to say the surface. The surface. Oh. Maybe that could sound different. I don't know, Jam. I don't know where this guy is, like, in terms of accents. If you tried like a British accent, right, and you went like, breaking the surface? No, you'd say it with an F. You'd say surface. I mean, I could hear that. Wasn't there a Matt Rose video on like people mishearing phrases or something like that? Something along those lines. Wasn't there a Matt Rose video on like people mishearing phrases? But somebody needs to tell this guy that it is broken the surface, not broken the surface. It doesn't help that Hoyoverse's Genshin team doesn't respond to any player base unless it is pertaining to the Chinese audience. Oh, so that's why we're so opposites of Hoi 4. Gotcha! Understood. I see. This is somebody from the complete opposite aisle here reviewing the reviews of a game on... This is... I don't know. Something about like left-wing and right-wing politics joke here. You get my point. This is like someone on the complete opposite side of the aisle reviewing something completely different that I have no like authority here, do I? As a Hoi 4 player, so what the Paradox interactive team often does is they have to bet, for one. So to bet is a thing in the game because it obviously was in real life. And you wouldn't believe the amount of like mainland like People's Republic of China citizens that are in like every comment of every DLC saying like Tibet does not exist and has never existed. It's actually scary how much the propaganda is there. But the thing is, Paradox Interactive's team does not budge. They include Tibet. So my thing is, we've got one team. I realize now that that's why the communities are such opposites. Like the Genshin Impact community, I think, is like the exact opposite of the Hoi 4 community. Like we established earlier, with the communities, one being like, oh, this update's shit, and we're gonna say it, and one update's like, I don't know how I can defend you. This. Okay, the game started off okay. So when was Genshin made? Like, hey Google, when did Genshin release? Genshin?
Kenshin generally
That's not what I said, but thank you. When did Genshin release? Gen
is a relatively common name, so it's important to specify which gen you're referring to.
I'll just type it. Or you know what? Maybe I can ask the older one. The reason that I'm whispering, that I'm ASMR whispering to my phone over here, is because, see, there's two Googles in my household. They compete a lot. There's the new Gemini one on my phone, but then we have an older, Google Home that's on the kitchen table, and the kitchen table one just takes results from the internet. The Gemini tries to personalize it. So let me just see if maybe the home Google, older Google, knows what I mean. Hey Google, when did Genshin release? I shut down Gemini on my phone before it could answer. So Google Home thought I said dentures and gave me a semi-detailed history on dentures. Okay. When did I'm just type it up, search into Google. Okay, Impact was released on. Was it really released on 2020? I feel like it's been around for longer than that. I mean, it was released in the height of the COVID pandemic. Of course, everyone's like nostalgic for when the old because you're nostalgic because like that was the time in which nobody was going to work. You were fine to stay home and just play video games all day. You were fine to like experiment, see like new video games that you hadn't tried. You're no longer limited to just like Minecraft when you come home from a long day at work. And now now you can do other things. So you tried Genshin. And because of that, you played Genshin for a really long time. And then you had to go back to work. And now you're cynical again. And now you're finding it. Maybe you don't enjoy it. Or maybe it's just not as good as you remember. Or maybe it hasn't changed, but you think it was better because of the time that you had when you spent way too long on it. Getting through the circumstances of that year. Anyway, it's been out for 4 years. And this new update has been out for a few months. And my point being here is that the game started off okay, but with Natlin, it seemed to lose everything that made it enjoyable. Did like the continent or the region? Did the region of Natlin like steal everything? Did Natlin itself like murder Paimon? I want to know. I want to know what it did to you. What did it do to you? Okay, the story was horribly paced and just didn't fit. Okay, sure, it had a bad chapter. The entire region gives off a completely different vibe than the rest of the game and seems more modern than fantasy. Okay, I don't know much about Nat. I do know that it was attempting to give a region. It was trying to give native like African cultures and native Native American cultures a chance, right? Because for a long time, Genshin has literally just been kind of based off. It seems like German culture for one, because Mondstadt, and then nothing but like Asian cultures, and that's fine because that's where it comes from. And it seems like a little bit of European, a little bit of like American kind of. I think there was one or something like that, and mostly Asian, and that's fine. But for a while, I know that the community was like rallying, hey, there's like not enough people of color in the game. Like, there's no black characters almost, and it's a little lopsided here. So Natlin was their answer to that. And to see Natlin basically fail is telling of the company. First of all, it's telling of the company that they couldn't like get a good story wrapped around. And I wonder if they shoehorned it in just to take care of that. And they shouldn't have done that. Like, it makes you look worse if you fail at representing, like, various cultures than it is to just have one culture. I feel like it makes you look worse to be like, okay, I guess if you want that, we're not going to do any research and we're just going to... So, yeah, it reflects badly in the company, surely. But it reflects very badly when you say the story's hard to face, and the entire region gives off a completely different vibe than the rest of the game. And this is a bad thing. I'm just saying, this is the region for... I think you get what I'm trying to say, right? This doesn't reflect very well on you to say that the one region... You get my point. Okay, you get my point. Just overall horrible decline in quality. I hope not because of the specific inclusion of certain, skin tones. Because had to quit the game entirely. It was so bad. Rip my account of 2 years. My friend, this is doing a lot worse for you than it is for them. This is not looking good for you. A region with people of color was added, and I had to quit. my guy, the only genuine critique you've made here is that the story was horribly paced and seemed more realistic. And then you rage quit because of that. I'm just saying that doesn't look real good. Okay, very boring story. Very boring story. I'm gonna be completely honest. The thing that, like, when I first saw Genshin, that was my initial thought. My initial thought was probably everyone who hasn't played Genshin's initial thoughts on Genshin. If you haven't played Genshin, what you assume Genshin is, that's what I thought it was. When I got into Genshin, the thing that kept me interested and kept me invested and like made me go, you know what? Maybe this isn't as bad as I initially thought. The thing that made me think like that was specifically the story. The story, you could pick up a book in Genshin, and you know what would be in the book? It wouldn't just be like a Minecraft book where there's, no book. You just put it in a bookcase, and then it makes the enchanting table go. Blah, blah, blah. You picked up a book in Genshin, and there would actually be a story inside it. Like a good, 4-page story in each of these, hundreds of books, explaining the multiple, layers of lore for, the hundreds of years that this continent has existed, Tevat or whatever it is, right? That's what kept me invested in it. Because it's not a very boring story. What you're saying here is that it's not a story that can be explained to you in 4 sentences. What you're saying is that you really, really don't read all that much. And that's okay. Reading isn't for everyone. But, It's not a very boring story. It's a long-winded one. That's the thing. It's a long-winded one. With no option to skip dialogue and a companion who spoon-feeds me a summary of what I just read after each sentence. Congratulations, you've figured out. They made a character. They made a character with a personality, and the character's personality is, yes, she repeats like everything she says. Her entire personality is meant to be like annoying and clingy, and gets slightly better over time. That's that's how the arc goes, because that's how you write a character. I feel like this person was trying to get into the anime game to see the anime style and, look at the, where is it? Many romantic interests of the player. I don't feel like this person was in it for the RPG and the story of it. What I read after each sentence, gameplay is repetitive and uninspired. I mean, it's an RPG. You fight stuff in the RPG. If it's not a good job, again, you're critiquing everything that Genshin is, which makes me think that you didn't want to play an RPG. You played it for some other reason. Like an RPG, that's what it is. It's repetitive grinding gameplay where you get certain materials and then you build up. That's what I'm trying to say, is that that's not a Genshin specific thing. You go into any general RPG, that's what it's gonna be. You go into Dark Souls or something like that. I haven't played Dark Souls all that much either, or Elden Ring or something like that. You're gonna get a very similar experience, whether it's anime. An RPG is gonna be like that. You loot stuff, you fight stuff, you loot stuff again, and you craft better stuff, and you get better materials of a certain epic rarity or whatever. Yeah, that's how it is. It's a grinding game, and you're there for the story of the grinding game. Otherwise, it would just be a Roblox simulator with better graphics. That's the whole point, is that you're there for the story. The whole point of the RPG, the role-playing game, is that you are there to grind to get better parts of the story. And that's why everyone's saying, okay, the story in Natlan is bad. That's okay, that's why that's a fair critique. But to say there is no story when there clearly is tells me you just didn't want to see the story. And to say that there's repetitive gameplay, which of course is what you get when you go into an RPG, tells me you were not there to play an RPG or look at a story. So what were you there to do in Genshin? And no sort of aid for new characters to catch up the constantly updating story. Again, guys, there's this magical thing called Google. I don't know if you're watching this on, you're watching this on YouTube. So on the top of your YouTube thing, there should be a search bar. Genshin Impact story recap. Just punch that in. And I've never done that before, but I'm dead certain there's going to be 20 separate videos explaining everything you need to know. And if you're just not if you're not dedicated to learning the lore of of a plot, whether that's a game or a media, then okay, you don't have to play it. You don't have to get into it. But that is the whole point. Again, is that the story is supposed to be there. It's supposed to be the overarching thing. So take an hour, listen to it in the background, and get a general grasp of it. I feel is it that hard? Okay, I really liked this game. The early game story was fun. I liked the older characters. I'm glad you liked the older characters. I'm gonna say that. I'm glad you liked the older characters. If you like the younger ones, that would be an issue. But there are a ton of issues that the players continue to bring up that fall on deaf ears. You know what? Game companies don't listen to their communities. If a game company actually listens to a community, you know what? On my main account, this is being posted on Communicate. On my main account, Diamond Kitty Gaming and more. If you look at that account, you'll see that the channel banner for that kid-friendly channel, you'll see the channel banner has this a screenshot of my account, and then it has in a little thing of me having opened my notifications. One of the comments says great video or something. Then it's got a thing of a YouTube channel called Landfall saying we loved this reaction. Something along those lines. I forget exactly. You know what? I will check it. I will check it on YouTube right now and do it myself. I don't need Google Gemini. You don't need to use AI for everything. There is a screenshot of a YouTube channel called Landfall and it is saying, yes, I'm happy you enjoyed the reveals. It was really cool seeing a reaction, Wilhelm. And then there's a little happy smile face and another reaction video on another video. That is the official Landfall account that made Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, that made Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, that made Totally Accurate Battlegrounds. They released a couple new things as well. They released rounds and Cluster Truck. They released a new sandbox where there's like a whole bunch of unfinished games as well. I want to play that sometime. But that is a game community. That is a developer team that really listens to their community. Like, that developer sat down and watched like at that time like a 12-year-old kid like screaming about how excited he was to see the next like Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator update. That is the epitome of a good developer. Now, I'm not sure if they've stayed that way because, it's been a while, but that's like the clear example. The issue is, when I think of community, when I think of developer teams, that is the only example that I can think of when I think of developer teams that actually listen to their players and don't take, their own personal monetary wants, their own personal viewpoints over their players. Right? That is the only thing. What I'm trying to say here is that every team does this. You're not going to find a game. You're barely going to find a game, unless it's like an incredibly small local game. You're not going to find a development team that cares a lot about its players without that being like exceptional. Exceptionally rare. More development teams should do it, but I'm just saying, if you're getting into a game, expect that. There are a ton of issues that players continue to bring up. The fall on deaf ears. The later gameplay doesn't even scale with the XP. The random bad guys you run into on the maps you roll level increases, so it's much more difficult to level up your characters and later gameplay. I think, again, that's just an RPG thing. Like, that's not specifically for Genshin. That's just an RPG thing. If you go back to, like, the level 1 areas, like your spawn point, that's where the easy enemies are. You go to, like, the newer areas that you have to unlock after you get to a certain level, that's where the hard enemies are. And, like, you're not supposed to, like, blitz through to, like, level 5,000. I mean, maybe, okay, leveling up is a little hard. I know that myself, but still, isn't that a thing, right? Like, you're not supposed to, as you get leveled up, you get less XP because you don't level up as fast because you're already high level? Oh, look, holy crap. It seems like this Traveler thing has only started recently. This is a January review, and they don't actually refer to the person as Traveler. Perhaps it's because they say that they already undownloaded the game or deleted the game. Devs won't listen about the excessive dialogue. Again, it is a story-based RPG. Like it or not, the main initial point of this was that it was a story-based RPG. Now the VAs are striking, the experience has become worse. This is back in January, so I don't know if they're still doing that. But also, yeah, I don't know if that's a critique on the VAs, the company, but maybe, like, that happens. We missed, like, Across the Spider-Verse Part 2 because the SAG-AFTRA strike. I still supported the SAG-AFTRA strike. They need to be paid more. I don't know if that's really a critique on the game itself. I feel like that's more you saying, like, damn it, why didn't they just get to work? Don't let the mainstream meet. The mainstream meet. Good sir. I don't think I've seen, like, CNN say, like, Genshin Impact is, like, so progressive. It's like, it keeps going. It just keeps updating.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I turn on the news and Jake Tapper's advertising his new book about how Genshin Impact is, like, so up to date and, like, always progressing, always moving. I turn on Fox News guy, Pete Hegseth is like, he's drinking a beer while telling me how Genshin Impact is like, my guy, the mainstream media? The mainstream media, not the, I mean, the mainstream, if you had said mainstream gaming media, I could have been like, okay, he means like IGN. I'll see if there's like a document from IGN that says like, oh, Genshin Impact's so good or something. But he just said the mainstream media in general. Good sir. Good sir. The character design looks good in 2D, but quite mid in 3D. Also known as, I'm really, really, really pissed that my anime women don't have like larger curves when I turn them in like the 3D generator. The worst part is how the devs either trolled or refused to listen to the players, and they often implement quality of life features that no one asked for, or use. That's what quality of life features are, though, is that like they make your quality of life better. That's what a quality of life feature is. You could tell. I'm just gonna say it. Like, look, I release 44 gameplay, like a lot, so you can tell that I'm a pretty political person. I'm not gonna make all this about politics. But the inclusion of mainstream media, the things are good in 2D, but not 3D. And like, I've seen touching grass is more fun than playing the game. I know what side of the political aisle you're on. I'm just going to say that. The immediate jump to the use of don't let the mainstream media lie to you. I know where you're sitting. I know where you're standing. The game has fallen off, and it hurts to acknowledge so. Again, this is another example of the earlier comment there. Why? Why does it hurt? Just acknowledge it. Tell them. Tell Hoyoverse, hey, if the game sucks, if the game actually sucks, just tell them, hey, it sucks. You need to get your shit straight. Like, saying it hurts to acknowledge so is basically telling the company, I really want to keep playing. You're just kind of annoying me a little. And, like, it's fallen off, but I just, like, if it's bad, the best way to, like, get them to change a thing is to just say, hey, your game's bad now. And maybe they'll start shaping up. If they know that they still have a consistent player base, just an annoyed player base, that's not a player base that's not playing. And that still looks good in shareholders, and that still looks good in investors. It had so much potential. I feel like Genshin Impact live player and count and statistics. Live counts active player IO. Okay, it has 278,000 278,000 live players. That is right. 2.9 million daily players and 12 million monthly players. First of all, I think your claim that it fell off is more like it's not new anymore, which happens to like every game. That happens to games on Roblox, where it's like, okay, the monthly players have equalized out. The hype, the social media hype, has died down. I feel like it's less that it's fallen off, and more like it's just a game now. It's not the hot new thing. It's a game. Just like Fortnite is no longer the hot new thing, but it's still got a community. Seeing the direction it's going in. Again, you need to be more specific here, because the only direction that it's going in is releasing the new, like, continent or the new region with... Okay, if you had said, like, the story is really, really bad in the new area and just left it at that, again, perfectly fine. But seeing the direction it's going in can be interpreted in so many ways that I feel as if you want to be specific, because the only direction that it's gone in is added more content with more diverse characters, and that doesn't look good on you. I know that it's about the story. That's not what you're saying. I'm aware that this is not what this person is saying. But I'm just telling you, I'm warning you as a viewer, as the watcher of internet content that you're currently watching on this video right now. Have some situational awareness, because you never know what you could be clipped as. Just, make sure. I fear it's no longer an enjoyable game. Horrendous mistakes. It's prime spots. Again, I hate reviews like this. Okay, can I just go off? it doesn't matter on just Genshin or whatever. I hate reviews like this that aren't specific. They're just like this entire review. This is a good sized paragraph. This is a good sized paragraph. The only actual critique I see here is like it has some flaws, and like Hoyoverse isn't putting in the same effort to their old game as they are to the new one. And as an Iron Assault player who got popular off Iron Assault and Roblox, and had, Piggy took all of Minitoon's time and effort, I get what you mean. But also, the only actual critique you've made here is like the company is prioritizing their newer games, and it's got these vague mistakes. I hate reviews like this where it's not specific. What is wrong with the game? You're basically this entire review can be boiled down into bad game, old game. It can be boiled down to 4 words. That's it. You're not telling me. Is it the story? Have the graphics gotten worse? Is the landscape? And the other people at least have managed to do it. Have managed to do it. Where they're like, okay, the characters, they're not as fleshed out. The personalities aren't good. The characters, they aren't fleshed out in a different way. The story isn't good. The landscape isn't, whatever. It got too hard to level up, blah, blah, blah. But I hate reviews like this in any game because it's just like, what are you critiquing? I don't care if I'm seeing the same thing 15 times in a row, where it's like, okay, story's bad, story's bad, story's bad, story's bad. At least then I know that the story is 100% bad. You, however, are just making vague claims that the game is bad now. Why? Why could it be? Unknowable reasons. Go through the effort of saying that the story is bad. Is my point. Is that if that's what you're trying to say? I'm gonna start trying to find better reviews now. Actually, this is a good review. I'm gonna go ahead and rate that one helpful. Been playing constantly since 2.5 and we're now at 5.5. To say this game has lost its charm would be an understatement. Increasingly convoluted mechanics get added. Quests focus on one-off NPCs that spew an endless amount of dialogue you can't skip. Playable characters are skewed more and more towards fan service, in addition to female characters severely outweighing male ones in the past year. Hoyoverse doesn't listen to their international player base. They make silly changes that no one asked for. My God, you know what? I think we're going to end the video here. This is where we're going to end the video. We're going to end the video because I finally found, in the sea, a capable and good 1-star review of, actually where it's gone wrong. It's not just claiming that the game's bad. It's not claiming that this is wrong or that's wrong, or the 2D picture of a new character that Hoyoverse released on Twitter is not does not have the same dimensions when they're added in 3D. It's not. You know what I mean? This one, we're gonna end it here because this is a good review, a really good review, a genuinely good review that actually gets to the point. It doesn't make any vague claims. It just specifies and actually is agreeable. Okay. And by the way, I'm still disagreeing with the you can't skip. It's a story game. It's a story game. Of course you can't skip it. The whole point is to get to the story and then play the story. That's the story game. But this is 100%. This is what it is. 100%. No insinuations, no anything, nothing. This is what I don't like. Love it. That is where we're going to end off the video. Thank you for watching. Genshin Impact reviews. They're crazy. They're strange. Maybe I'm just defending Genshin. I think, maybe I'm just defending all RPGs. But I think there were some laughs in here. And I'll see you later. This has been a Communique video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.